Welcome in the latest episode of the Bending the Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner. Tonight we're going through the UEFA World Cup qualifiers, the final rounds. We've cut down a bunch of teams down to just a couple matches remaining. Everything's on the line to make it to the summer tournament in Canada, the US, and Mexico. A lot on the line, especially from the most competitive region or continent out there in the world. Very much looking forward to this. Unfortunately, not a lot will be televised, so good luck trying to stream it or potentially watch it later. I believe in the U.S. we will have the Italian matchup against Bosnia as one of the matchups on there. Crazy that the Italians are actually involved in this, but it wouldn't be the World Cup without the Italians potentially not making it. I'm wearing an Italian kit tonight. If you're watching Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, hit the 5-star review button, leave a like, leave a comment. If I see something out there, I will read it as soon as I see it. If you're not and you're actually on YouTube at the real underscore G Warner, then you're one of the many more followers out there, and I appreciate that. Also hit at the real underscore G Warner on Instagram for the real portion of this show, not the real underscore G Warner part, but the actual real. There will be a short on YouTube as well. Assuming I get this all together before the Thursday kickoffs, we are a little bit earlier as finally time has changed over there in the UK or just in Europe in general. These are 1:45 Central Time, 2:45 Eastern Time starts, kickoffs, all those sort of things. And we'll start without further ado with the Czech Republic and Denmark. So currently the Danes, they are going on the road to Czechia for this matchup. Czech Republic are a half a goal underdog right now. All the juice is on the Czechs. Total in this one is 2.25, and it's just a little bit more to over. The Danes have been really, really strong. It's kind of surprising that they're in this competition at this point, but I think that's a lot due to failures towards the end of their qualifying, really against Scotland is what really did it. I think they were in position in a match against Scotland to go through. Let's see what that was. Scotland and Denmark. I want to say it was in Scotland. They were a home underdog. I believe that was the case. That was in November 18th of 2025. Yes, they have 4-2 victory for Scotland. A red card suffered by Denmark with Rasmus Christensen, 61st minute, and they conceded. Wow. So it was 1-0 Scotland, 1-1. 2-1 Scotland, 2-2, and then conceded 2 goals in stoppage time, I think, to lose their advantage and then have to play this round. Well, now they go to the Czech Republic and go to Prague, and that's going to be a really tough setup for them. The Czechs have not been as strong. I really liked kind of where they were building to a couple of seasons ago. They've changed a bunch of managers, and that's never really a great thing. I did watch all these matches, by the way, on mainly all on delay, but I did see most of them without getting spoiled on as much as I could. But the Czechs, so they've brought in a new manager. They have Miroslav Kubek, probably a Czech individual because they seem to always have that. Vladimir Sufal has been playing really, really well for TSG Hoffenheim in the German Bundesliga this year. I'm a little surprised to see Kovar taking over as goalkeeper, but Krejci came back from suspension, scored a goal, and honestly, to me, Czech Republic, they had a bit of an easier time than I expected them to, but then ended up having to, I think, go to extra time to advance. So what will that do? I mean, it's nice that they got to play Thursday to Tuesday, so there won't be as much, I guess, fatigue involved here. But yeah, had to go to penalty kicks with Ireland after I guess they did fall behind 2-0. Ended up tying it up. Krejci with the equalizer in the 86th minute, and that was a big deal. But having to play the extra time certainly is potentially going to bother them. It's nice that the Czech Republics get both these matches at home, so they don't have to go anywhere. No travel certainly helps. One of the goals was absolutely crazy, an own goal off the goalkeeper, off of I think plenty of other players' heads and things like that actually scored it for Ireland, and a penalty to start it all off. Schick got his own penalty. I mean, just a million penalties. And if you play unders, like I do, probably the worst things in the world are when these penalties come out. But I think we see another similar setup. I mean, the Czechs hadn't, to me, been playing with a three-man back line in a long time. Some of that might have been due to injury, but some of the names that we see plenty on the national stage are there. I thought it was interesting that Darida came back after international retirement. He gave away that penalty early, which is not great, of course, for them. But we'll see if he ends up keeping his place. But having a front line with Patrick Schick not actually playing as a striker was bizarre to me. I hadn't really seen him in a right wing type of scenario before, though Thomas Chori is like one of the bigger Vedat Marici types, but of the Czech version as opposed to the Kosovan kind. And Pavel Such has been really, really great for Lyon. Was great at Victoria Plzeňa. I really like the front line there, and they're a half goal underdog at home, which I mean does to me seem like there's plenty of value on a home underdog. I don't know necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't consider the Czechs on the same level as Denmark to say the least, but the Danes, I mean, they shouldn't be at this level and they're here. So that's a big deal. Going on the road, tough, really place to play. It's really tough at these. I feel like they should all be neutral sites, but I guess maybe UEFA's trying to sell some tickets or something like that because certainly Czech Republic didn't deserve to be at home over Denmark. I don't think. But we're here and we'll see what ends up happening in all this. But I'm trying to get to that Denmark last matchup. I don't know why I can't seem to get there, but I guess we'll go to transfer market and I'll probably crash my computer, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah, so Denmark with an easy victory over North Macedonia. Clearly, they don't have the same problems with the Macedonians that the Italians do. But there was, I mean, there's plenty of talent on the Danish side. Rasmus Højlund up top is great. I'm about to sneeze, so get ready for that. Hopefully, I hit the mute in time. We're back. At least they're not yawns, but those are probably coming. Um, and honestly, I think even more to Denmark being stuck in this competition right now, they should have already qualified for the World Cup, but they didn't. They played pretty much the most makeshift back line we could ever imagine. Now, keeping a clean sheet against North Macedonia is still something. I mean, it's hard to keep a shutout, especially when you're winning 4-0 late in matches. But the back four was, I think, completely changed from their last matchup due to injury or unavailability, which is really not great, including goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. I don't know that I love Hermansen, who's been playing for West Ham United in the English Premier League, but seemingly is kind of a second choice in my humble opinion. Juma Ba's great. I mean, all these players are talented and play in the biggest leagues in the world. But Christian Norgard, who's basically been, I think, more of a definite backup, but I would say almost more of a central midfielder as opposed to even defensive midfielder for Arsenal. He's now playing as a right center back, or did in the first leg. Victor Nelson, I believe it's Victor. He's a left back for Verona, and a left center back was playing left center back of a back four. I mean, those are some issues, I think. We'll see what the lineups look like for this next leg, and you'd think that with the World Cup on the line, if there are some people that are close to being healthy, they might get thrown in. But man, I just feel like there's a lot potentially of troubles here, especially with that back line. And as a favorite on the road, I think the Czechs are definitely, I mean, home underdogs. Anyone who listens to the Bet and Pitch podcast across any social media channel, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, at the real underscore G Warner, wherever you can basically get it. You know that I like the home underdogs. That's like my jam. But there's a lot setting up here. Yes, it's not the prettiest name in the world out there by any means, but I think there's plenty of value, and I certainly lean to the Czechs at plus 1/2. We'll move next to Poland, and they are, let's see. Oh, I guess before I move on, two advanced numbers. Czech Republic plus 177, 100 US wins you 177. All lines courtesy of Bet Online. If you don't have an account there, please hit me up because they have some of the best lines out there, certainly the earliest. If you want to play openers, that's a great spot to do it at the real underscore G Warner across any social media platform. The Danes are minus 205. So $205 will win you 100. They are clearly a favorite, as they should be, on the road. But honestly, with their lineup situation, I think there's even some value on the home team. As you get to extra time, the crowd will be there supporting the Czechs. This is literally do or die to make the World Cup. And in penalty kicks, I mean, the lasers will be focused on the eyes of Denmark. I don't know if they're going to have lasers in Prague, but pretty much every South American country would. So we'll see if that actually would happen. But I think there's a lot of value there to me on the Czechs, and I'm very interested in that half a goal. And I think I do like that plus 177 as well to advance. We move next to Sweden and Poland. Poland, who came back from behind, fell behind early to Albania um, on a probably disappointing goal to say the least. And I was disappointed because I had Albania +1 and under, and that looked like it was off to a really great start with a goal lead. And I don't know that I really felt great about the Poland goals to end up winning in regulation. I pushed the side, so we went 3-2 and 1 in our bets last time. But I felt and I still feel like Poland is pretty weak, especially based on their expectations. I mean, one goal favorite was an absolute joke against Albania, even at home. Yes, Lewandowski is great, but I mean, Albania didn't defend a corner kick very well, and that was also made kind of problematic by Thomas Strakosha, who didn't really make it at Lazio in this Italian Serie A, making kind of some goalkeeping mistakes. Didn't love that, of course. But Piotr Zielinski of Inter Milan, the best club in Italy, made a great goal from outside the box, and that was that pretty much. Felt like I made a great bet on Albania, and that's not really what we're debating here. But it's just like Poland scoring twice in a home match is nice, but I don't really see them doing much here, I gotta say. Jan Bednarek with a huge mistake that basically conceded the first goal. Long ball, tried to control it. Probably could have just let it go or just not did what he did, which basically fed Hosha in for the go-ahead goal, the first goal of the match in the 42nd minute, right before halftime too. I guess it was a good time to, I guess, re-strategize, but like literally just some really stupid plays. Yeah, Jan Bednarik has just shown he's not that great of a center back. Has been all over Southampton and other places in the big leagues. Now he plays with his club teammate in this international team, Jakub Kurior at Porto in Portugal. Um, that's kind of an issue for me. Yes, Matty Cash plays for Aston Villa. He's quality. I mean, there's great players in this team, good talent. Kaminsky in the Bundesliga, Zielinski as already mentioned, Simanski as well. I think just moved to Rennes in France. And they started some 19-year-old, and Roska took him off when they were behind at halftime. And I don't think that the Poles have any clue. Yes, they have Robert Lewandowski, but he's also very old. Certainly can finish and will be trusted to finish, especially if he gets a spot kick. But I don't really like much about that team, I gotta say, and feel like almost could see Albania in this matchup, but we don't have them here. So Poland, they are taking on Sweden, who took advantage of playing Ukraine not on a Ukrainian site, playing at Valencia's stadium in or Levante Stadium in Valencia, Spain. Worked out very well for them. Took a lead early, and Ukraine just kind of withered. I'm a little bit surprised that Ukraine didn't fight harder because that's like what they do. But Victor Gyökeres with a nice hat trick. No goal conceded by Sweden until the 90th minute, so that was pretty much a breeze. And while Sweden doesn't have the defense that I think is important for them to do anything in this tournament if they get there, it might not matter because they can get through Poland, though Poland certainly has the attackers that could quite make at least Victor Lindelof, who seems to be a mainstay with Sweden, but can't really seem to play in a lot of other places in Europe, at least for his club team, Manchester United. Um, and obviously, Gyökeres is super hot, plays for one of the best, if not the best club team in the world. And 3 goals, can't argue with that. Anthony Alenga starting up next to him is obviously great pace that will really trouble a back three from Poland that has mistakes in it, as I've just discussed. I do like the midfield for Sweden. Ayari doesn't certainly sound Swedish, but he's been a great defensive midfielder. Karlstrom also of Udinese in the Italian Serie A. He can play. I like Goodmanson has been, I think, playing really well about as across as many stops in European top football leagues. And Isaac Keane is also a good center back. I feel like I certainly trust Swedish defense more than I trust Poland's. Do I really trust Poland's? Not really. Do I really trust Sweden's? No, but I guess they're playing weaker offenses, so maybe that's all that matters here. I'll get to the numbers now. So the total's tiny, 2.25, juiced all the way to over. Probably climbs to 2.5 before kickoff, but that's still really low. Um, Considering the defensive questions that I've just literally illustrated for the last however many minutes. As in terms of the spread, Sweden are quarter goal favorites with almost all the juice, 18 of the 20 cents, minus 118 to the minus 102 on Poland. I don't really think that there's a number that I want to get involved here with Poland. Away from home in Sweden is going to be really tough. That crowd's going to be super yellow, and I think it's going to be a really awesome match to watch, and I'm really excited to see it. I don't know. There's probably not a lot for me to do here as I don't really like the road underdog. I think I probably like them better to score than defend, but I mean, I do think this is going to be incredibly nerve-wracking as this is a big legacy situation for all these players to get to the World Cup, which is awesome and why I love the World Cup as much as I do because it means so much to all these guys playing in it, and of course all the fans and countries across the world. Just wish we weren't blowing each other up, but that's I guess in a whole nother podcast. I guess I'll lean to under 2.25, but I think I want the 2.5 at minimum. And I don't think I want much to do with Poland because I don't trust them to score, and I think Sweden can. To advance number, Sweden minus 166 to Poland plus 146. I don't play favorites in this situation unless I really, really strongly believe, and I can't say I do. So let's move to the next matchup, and that is Kosovo and Turkey. So Kosovo, I mean, I was shocked. Did not expect a how do I say this? I would not have expected a 4-3 victory from Kosovo. They were honestly awesome and scored a ton of goals and maybe weren't that awesome, but now they get a really, really tough matchup in Turkey. So they are at home, which is a big deal. Not having to fight that Turkish side in Istanbul is a really big deal. So that's certainly helpful. I think Kosovo, I mean, guy was shouting out Abdullah who didn't even make it to the squad, unfortunately, for this round. So that's a big deal. But certainly didn't expect Kosovo's defense to be as bad as it was, or to concede as many times as it did. But they made it through, and that's what matters. And now they get to take on the Turkish side, who really struggled, I thought, to get through Romania. Took a lead. Second half, was it really deserved? Maybe. I mean, if they were a better team, sure, but I wasn't seeing a ton of goals in that matchup. Any of those of you that took under was a great bet there. Certainly, if you bet the Romanian side you covered as well, so that certainly helps as well. Can't will never shake my head at a winning bet, but Slovakia Kosovo should never be 4-3, especially I mean Martin Valiant, not ever known for his goal scoring, but corner kicks and set pieces can certainly do that for you. Got a little bit nervous late with a late goal from David Strelec of Slovakia, but ultimately Kosovo were good enough. Got a great free kick goal, which we never see those. So it was kind of a weird match, I'll say. But I think the right team got through. Underdog that cashed a bet for us. Under was a loser, but those things happen. So Ferdi Kadioglu is the goal scorer for Turkey. He's a left back and was getting way forward against Romania, who I thought were going to make some steps over the last few seasons, but Yanis Hadji hasn't really turned into anything. Dennis Mann seems to be pretty much alone. And Andre Ratiu is a really great player, but right back, right wing, and one central attacking midfielder is probably, I guess, not enough. I think Radu Dragusin has not been great, but honestly, they're a big underdog and they covered. So I don't know if there's that much we can even argue about. Now, from a Turkish side, Çalhanoğlu played, Arda Güler, Aktürkoğlu, Yildiz, and Burak Yilmaz. All, I mean, so many good players, all great attackers. I do have some questions about their defense. And that's, I think, been the issue with Turkey over the past X amount of seasons, why they haven't qualified for certain events because of that. But the nice part is they're facing a Kosovo side that just basically scored as many goals they seem to put up in what feels like a month's time. I would expect Kosovo to be very defensive in this matchup, especially knowing what Turkey have to their. I mean, they have such big talent playing at the best clubs. This Güler at Real Madrid, Kenan Yildiz playing at Juventus. Like, there's so much to deal with here that I imagine we see a very, very conservative game plan from Kosovo. And I think I mean, it might be one of those things where you see a high scoring game, you back off playing under on the next one. Well, here it might be a good spot to do it. I lean to Kosovo as a home underdog at 1/2 of a goal. It's bigger than I made it. That makes me feel like Turkey are getting a little bit more respect than they deserve. They certainly are a lot healthier than the Danes based on what we were comparing earlier. But I think under is also something I'm interested in. Home underdog and under, I think, because there's two spots that I'd like to be. Two advanced numbers, Kosovo plus 189, very helpful in the stoppage time, and also to penalty kicks minus 225 or Turkey. They deserve to be favorites because they're better, but it's gonna be a really tough crowd. I think Kosovo are dying to make it to a big international competition, and this is a good spot for them to do it at home. Last but not least, we go to Bosnia Herzegovina. They are hosting Italy, and we'll get to the numbers here. Italy, 1 goal favorites away from home. Right now, most of the juice is on Italia as well, who were, I think, good. I mean, besides that national anthem that gets everyone so hyped. But I don't know that they were that dominant. But they've really struggled in this stage of competitions going back years and years and years, losing to North Macedonia in the previous leg in the last competition to qualify for the World Cup that basically made it so Portugal only had to beat North Macedonia to get in. What a gift for Portugal, and kind of denied us of a Portugal-Italy matchup with the World Cup on the line. That was rough, but we're here. And Bosnia, I mean, wild match with Wales. Sad to see Wales literally go out. I think two straight competitions in penalties at home of all places. Not a great sign for home field advantage mattering in those situations, but they were a favorite. Took a lead, and Dzeko got a late goal. Looked like it was going to be a split under in the Bosnia side, but ended up winning both of those. So got that bet, road underdog and under to work really well. In this case, it'd be home underdog and under. But I got to say, Edin Demirovic missed two pretty normal chances, like not easy ones, but ones that he puts away for Stuttgart or for every German Bundesliga side we've watched him play for. I've watched him play for. Defense was fine. Sead Kolasinac is actually really good at an international level, maybe not so much on the club level at Arsenal, or I guess he's all right at Atalanta. They moved some players around. Seeing Edin Dzeko play as much as he did, I wonder if he's got enough legs in him to start and play 90 minutes. We'll see. Because having that two-pronged attack basically made it so Dzeko, I mean, he scored the equalizer and his height was huge. He did take a yellow late. I don't think he's suspended though, because that would have been absolutely ridiculous if he got one for arguing. But there's, to me, a huge fight in the Bosnians here, and they're at home. We'll have a big crowd. Like Italy, I mean, everyone, of course, is going to want to bet Italy in this matchup. That's just how it's going to go. And the big names, certainly, in their success and winning the Euros, I think the last two times or whatever, which is, well, until Spain, I guess, but, and then not making the World Cup. I mean, the history is there to bet against them. I think, I mean, Mancini, Bastoni, and Calafiori is a pretty legit back three, to say the least. And that might cater towards under and not seeing Bosnia score. But a 1-0 Italy victory, they're holding on for dear life at the end. Yes, Bosnia might send their goalkeeper forward, but that doesn't always turn into a goal, empty net style. Those are the brutal ones. But I think the push on +1 is huge. It looks like we might be getting a goal in a quarter, which is very interesting to me as well. Do we really trust Moise Kean and Retegui to score? Retegui's been great on lower levels, but really hasn't done too much. And I mean, the Italian midfield is also great. Politano, Barella, Locatelli, Tonali, and DeMarco. I mean, what an incredible combination, especially with the goals that DeMarco provides from left wing back. But it's pretty much the Inter style of match, despite having Juventus and Newcastle players in that roster, plus Arsenal and Roma as well. But I think the team has taken on the best that they've done in the league. I mean, I thought Northern Ireland was a little bit more. I almost said Northern Iowa, too much college basketball. March Madness on the mind, but I thought Northern Iowa was competitive. Northern Ireland again, whoops, were competitive, but probably shouldn't have been against an Italian team that are just so deep, so strong. I don't know that Pio Esposito coming on as a sub to score goals is like speaks to the problems that the Italians have at the forward line. But ultimately, I think that all works together in not covering a 1 goal spread on the road in like the most important match that these guys have played in at least 4 years. Yes, you could say Champions League final stuff, but like that's club stuff and that's different. So 2.25, juiced all the way to over on the total. Would love to see that climb to 2.5. So we win a full bet there if it lands 2. think we see a really low scoring game here. So +1 looks very interesting. I'll be waiting to see if 1.25 pops on Bosnia Herzegovina. It's bigger than I made it, and I think there's value there. Two advanced number, Bosnia +374, Italy -485. So there's certainly some difference there. I think Italy deserved to be a favorite, have an awesome everything but front line. And yes, I've seen some goals from Moise this season, but I'm not really sure I believe that to happen on this type of level. I feel like he's got too much inconsistency in his game, and maybe that's punishing him for the years and years of the past. But I just don't know necessarily that I truly see it's Italy dominating this game, winning by a lopsided margin. So I'm interested very much in the +1 full goal of insurance and also under 2.25. That could be 2.5 before kickoff. So that does it for this episode of quick quarterfinals, or I guess 8 matches with 4 teams going to the World Cup, and then we'll get closer to that. I will be going to the first round at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. If anyone's there, holler. If anyone's got ideas to get tickets, please holler even louder because I'd love to figure that out too. Probably the most expensive tickets I'll ever buy in my life, but I think it'll be worth it. See you all down there and La Ciudad de Mexico. And it's time for the ultimate best bet. So before I get there, we will have an episode on the NCAA tournament with Big East Ben before we go to Indianapolis, traveling there on Friday. Good Friday. What a great time to have a holiday. Don't even have to take a day off. Awesome. We'll be in Indianapolis. We'll be at St. Elmo's on Saturday with A. Brooks Bets as well. If anyone wants to come out there, holler. Would love to see everybody, share some beers, celebrate another awesome year, great NCAA tournament, all that sort of stuff. I'm trying to work out how to get more Major League Baseball stuff on here, especially as the college basketball season winds down. I'll have a lot more time on my hands. Still doing, of course, podcast for pregame.com under the What I Bet episode channel, all under the Straight Outta Vegas feed. So check that out if you want more daily interactions. Let's see. I guess I'll run through my interest in all these matches and then try to get you a best bet and then get out of here. In the Czech Republic Denmark match, Czechs are at home. I like that half a goal underdog. I think we could see some goals. Probably lean to under 2.25 as well. Not too big of a surprise there. Home underdog and under. Lean to Czech Republic +177 to advance as well. Sweden and Poland. Don't really have much of a feel. I guess lean under, but it's not a super strong one. Don't really have a feeling. Do expect Sweden to advance, but they're a favorite at home. Kosovo at home to Turkey. I like the home underdog +1/2. Also like under 2.5. Biggest total we've discussed so far on this episode. That does mean something. Kosovo, I think, are going to be defending for a very long time, though, and that's a big, big concern with only a half a goal in your pocket. 2 advanced number. Kosovo is interesting, but I think Turkey are better and over more time. More depth matters. I might even like them less in extra time than I do in regular time. And last but not least, Bosnia Herzegovina and Italy. I like Bosnia as a side. I like under 2.25. And for my best bet in this episode, I would wait to see if a 2.5 pops, but I'll play under 2.25 goals. Bosnia Herzegovina hosting Italy. And that'll do it for this episode. See you on the next one. We got the league season's coming back real soon. Get ready for more of that on this podcast channel. Finally, we'll be caught up at some point soon as well. And that's what we got. Hit me up at the real_G Warner, especially if you want a referral to Bet Online or sportsbetting.ag. Great bonuses over there. And hit the follow button if you're on YouTube at the real_G Warner. If you're on Instagram at the real_G Warner. If you're on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, hit it. Betting the Pitch is the name on those channels.